Hello, my Teaserking family. Long fucking time. My apologies. I was put on double secret probation, or I got a strike for medical misinformation. I'm not really sure what that means. Anyway, I had to sit in the penalty box for a week, and it wouldn't let me broadcast. So I asked them the question. So they said it's something medical. And the problem with something medical is we don't talk medicine here. We talk gold and football and sports and betting. The only thing I could say is from our doctor friend who says, we'll call it don't eat too much. That was it. I really don't know. I reviewed the video. I didn't see anything. I thought it's kind of silly, keeping me away for 8 days. Just delete the video, right? So it's sort of like you get a ticket and police says you can't drive for a week. What did I do? Well, I don't, read all the laws and try to figure it out, but we're not going to tell you. I just thought that was extremely bad because I don't know why, right? So anyway, I'm back. Missed you. I missed the conversation and the teaching, which is obviously why I do it every day. I thought it was, I thought I'd be back yesterday because they said a week, which Saturday to Friday is a week, is 7 days, but whatever. Happy to be here today. So, Mark McGwire had a good show on Friday, no guest. Talked a lot about silver being way undervalued. And like I thought, they don't have the supply. So I'm not really sure why the silver supply, it's like they can't get it from comex. They're stealing it from the ETFs. I don't get the whole point. In honor of General Chowing from yesterday. So why does comex and the ETF have all the silver? Or you have to go to them to buy the silver, but they're not really trying to sell physical silver. They're just dealing in derivatives to keep the price down. So I don't get how, if Tesla wants silver for their batteries, for their electric cars or the solar, where do they go buy it at? And if you go to comex and they don't have it, you just can't buy it, and then the price doesn't go up. So it's been crazy. We saw gold hit 22.11 on Wednesday, and then everything's good. And then Thursday at 10 o'clock, it goes from 22.04 to 21.71. Total price fixing, total BS. Again, they're just trying to keep the price. Like they think we're that stupid. Well, if gold goes to 2,500, then everybody will dump the dollar. I mean, I don't think most of the people can put two and two together and figure out the dollar's worthless anyway. So I'm kind of just curious about that thought process. Let's keep shorting it, and we'll lose our butts because everybody needs gold and silver. Silver got to 25.60. I thought, here we go, but again, we're still struggling with it. But according to Mark, it'll be maybe by the end of April. It should be ending. It should be imploding and all done end of April. I guess the end of March, but they'll still have the contracts for a month. Anyway, that looks like it's collapsing. Gold should be much higher, but at least we see it going up. It was stuck at 21.50. Then that day it hits 22, and now it's at 21.70. So we're slowly getting there. Let's see, what's it at now? It will move Sunday, but not till like our night. So it's 21.65 in gold and silver 24.68. So the other big news is brics. Brics has green lighted the gold-backed currency, which we weren't really doubting, but it's going to come up in the May meeting. There's a meeting in Kazan, which is Russia, with brics, and they will announce, well, they should announce the gold-backed currency. Which they really need, because nobody's going to trust another fiat currency. So that's supposed to be green lighted. Here we go with going back. And I'll show you Mark McGwire later. So comex is blowing up and brics is coming out with the gold back currency. So we just got to wait a little longer. But now we have our answer, the question of why and everything. And I'm going to talk about trust and comfortable and Madoff, because I think that's what we run into. What do we want to do? We want to, we want to have our friends and family buy gold and silver, and they look at us like we're crazy. And I was thinking about that, and it's a trust issue. They don't trust us. They don't think we know what we're doing, and or they trust, I guess, the government or the money. Big mistakes there. So last Saturday, I had asked the question about why do people trust these guys? Sort of like, how do the people get scammed, right? How do they go with the Madoff? Or in our case, go with the Federal Reserve, or go with how do you trust Biden or Trump or Putin or any of these guys? I was thinking about that. And I think it's a comfortable issue. I was watching the show Hustle, and it was 8 seasons, the BBC one, and it's about how they hustle people, right? And they get a mark and they give them the bait, like the Sting, right? How do they hustle that guy? And it's a con in the fact that the guy gets comfortable believing what they say, right? And there's a thing on it that says you can't con an honest man. And what they try to do is get you comfortable and trusting. And that's how it works. And so that's why when I go in the locker room, I was in the locker room. This is a story from this week. And some guy's bragging about how much money his financial advisor made him. That financial advisor made me a ton of money. My first thought was Attack on Wall Street guy. I'm going, oh, well, he didn't put you in gold, I'm sure. He put you in cash. So I wait a few minutes and I'm listening to him brag how much money he made. And I says, well, you know what? You don't really have any money. You made a lot of fiat currency. You made a lot of this, but this isn't worth anything. And he looks at me, well, yeah, but I'm happy in life. If I don't have money, I'm happy in life. Talking like to me, right? Not knowing who I am. And and then his buddy butted in and said, what are you going to tell us about Bitcoin? And I said, why would you bring that up? I don't. Why would you think I like Bitcoin? And then I wondered, like, why doesn't he look like, why wouldn't you normally be curious of going, who is this guy? Why is he saying this? I should talk to him and try to understand why he would make those comments. And this is it. I mean, it's instead he just ignores me, says some stupid comments about me being happy or being happy without money. And, and I'm trying to tell him, you don't have anything. Get out of the dollar. And he wouldn't listen. And it's purely, he trusts his financial advisor, but he doesn't trust me because he's not comfortable with me. He's comfortable with him because this guy made him money. So now he trusts him. And I think that's a big key of the con. Right? That's the Madoff. Madoff made us money, so we trust Madoff and we'll invest in Madoff because he keeps making us money without understanding what it is. And that's really how these things work. Bitcoin, I keep watching these Bitcoin things and we keep thinking it's money. Well, it's just like gold. It's got the same properties as gold, and it's decentralized. See, they keep thinking. I have the perfect analogy of Bitcoin. I figured this out, I think yesterday. I was doing videos on my computer, but I couldn't upload them here. Just for the hell of it, I was going to upload them. I thought, well, I'll do them last week on my computer and load them. I said, doesn't matter because when I come back, I can explain everything. So here's in a nutshell Bitcoin. Here's the Sands, beautiful hotel back in the day, been blown up. This only works in the Sands. This is a casino chip from the Sands. This is a casino chip from Caesars. This will only work in Caesars Casino. This has value. Outside of the casino, it has no value. Inside the casino and only inside the Sands Casino does this have value, not elsewhere. Okay, so I'm in Caesars. I've got this chip. I can cash it in for $1. It's a roulette chip. I can cash it in for $1 in Caesars, but I can't go to McDonald's and spend it, or the grocery store, or anywhere else. I can't go to the Venetian with it. So if we understand these dollars are now they're decentralized, the government doesn't control them, the casino controls them. So if we understand that basic concept that the casino owns these chips and they're only good in the casino, nowhere else, then if we only can use them in the casino, they're really not money. Technically, it'd be like the casino, it'd be like the Sands saying, oh, we've got our own cryptocurrency, the Sands, it's limited, it's decentralized, the government's not involved. it goes up in value, but you can't use it outside of the Sands Casino or Caesars Casino. Wasn't that Bitcoin? Decentralized. It's not really money. I guess the question is, what is this? Is this money? Kind of. I mean, the difference is this actually has a value. So this is worth $1, right? Is this money? It's an asset. It has a value. However, only in Caesars Casino is it worth something. I'll get to the NCAA Bskts in a minute. I know the 12 o'clock game. So this leads you to Bitcoin. It's decentralized. Is it money? It only works in the Bitcoin casino, if we think about it. It only has value in Bitcoin. You can't go outside with it. You can't go to the grocery store or to a steakhouse and use Bitcoin. Nobody's going to accept it because nobody knows this is closer to being money because we know this is $1 at Sands. So let's say I had a $25 Sands chip. Theoretically, if I go to my barbecue place where they'll accept my silver and I gave it to them, theoretically you could take it and then go to the Sands and cash in the $25 chip. He could. I mean, it would have value there and he could get money for it. So Bitcoin, you can't use it at a restaurant because you don't really know the difference is you don't know the value of Bitcoin. They're bidding it up to 60,000 to 70,000, 50,000, whatever. It's all a Ponzi scheme because it's not even real because it doesn't even have a value on it, right? So you don't know what it's worth. It keeps violently going 50, 60, 70, 60, 50, 40. So does BlackRock and JP Morgan take their money out, it'll go down to 20,000. That's the problem of the Ponzi schemes. That's the difference. That's a Ponzi scheme because only people in the Bitcoin casino buy and sell it. It only has value in the Bitcoin casino. It's not money. And they keep thinking it's limited because it's 21 million ounces. I hate to break it to you, is not limited. And, and again, it's not, what's the word? It's not accepted. It has to be accepted. Again, money has got to be portable. I don't know that Bitcoin, this is more portable. This I can put in my pocket. Is it scarce? I don't know how scarce this is. Bitcoin's not scarce, 21 million. I don't know why they think 21 million is scarce. I'm not sure. I think this is scarce. My Mahomes card, 50 count. I don't know that that's scarce. I think a 25 count maybe. Fungible, the same, replaceable. I don't know. I've never. There isn't anything to hold. It's not acceptable and it's not durable because it's not. You can't touch it. It's not like gold, durable, silver. Even the money, this is durable. I mean, this you put in your pocket and your wallet and it's there. So I had that great analogy yesterday going, that's what it is. Bitcoin is a casino. It's money in a casino and it only has value in the casino. And the casino is decentralized. The government doesn't say Caesar's $5 chips. It has a value. It's worth $5. You can tip the girls there, get you a drink. They'll take it. It works at poker. You give them 300 chips. You get 300 poker chips. Can you go to the rest? Can you go to the food court with your chips? I believe you could at Caesars. I think you could give them a chip and they would take probably. And they would just on their way out go to the cashier. They might not like it, but I think they could. I know you can tip with it. I don't know if you go out to the Caesars shops where the blue sky is, if they would take it. But that's the only place you can't go to. You can't go to, like I said, McDonald's and use it. So I had that analogy that Bitcoin's just a casino. Same things. This isn't really money, but it is money in the casino. So in Bitcoin, it's worth something, but that's the only place it's worth something. And these people are bidding it up. Oh, now it's worth 70 grand because more people entered the casino. And then when people leave the casino, the price will go down. That's why they try to con you into never cashing out. So Madoff and Bitcoin, what they have in common is trust. You trusted Madoff because the price you got paid every month. So if you gave him 50 grand, he'd give you back 10%. I don't know how often he paid it, monthly or quarterly. You would get that in your account. There was no transactions made. And just like Bitcoin, there's no transactions made. Right? See how similar it is? Madoff just got other people's money and then paid you with the France money or the European money or and there was Russian mafia involved. There was mafia involved, which is why at the end, in my mind, this Pickcower guy was Russian mafia because he had a lot of money and he took out a lot of money. If you listen to the Netflix, he took out, $6 billion, whatever. I would say he was Russian mafia. And he knew what was going on. He probably organized it. Madoff was the front. They kept giving him money, and then they'd get all their money out. And that's probably at the end what happened is Madoff said, I did it on my own, which obviously is a lie. He hired a bunch of guys out of high school who didn't know what they were doing. It's funny how they all thought he had assets, like in Europe, he had gold or stocks or something, and he had nothing. He just took the money and paid out, didn't invest it in anything, but definitely Russian mafia. And I think the same thing with Bitcoin. There's no investment. They're not investing in anything, right? How is it different than Madoff? The price goes up. This is like a little different scam. The price goes up because more people get in. Well, isn't that the same as Madoff? Although I don't know if your price went up, but it kept it going. So as more people joined Madoff, he was able to pay you off. As more people join Bitcoin, the price goes up and you can cash out. You can cash out if you want to, but people are so uneducated about the whole thing that they don't have a clue. So they keep their money in. Oh, it's going to go up. It's going to go up. Yeah, I'm going to win 500 hands in a row at roulette. Red's going to keep coming up and coming up and coming up. Yeah, okay. So this is the problem with Bitcoin. There's no reason for it to go up. It's not money. I hate when they call it money. Money has to be able to, for it to be money, you should be able to walk into a Toyota dealership and buy a car with it. It's $70,000, but they won't take it. You should be able to go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse and take the family for steak. You got Bitcoin, they won't take it. So, and that's where I've got one over on the Bitcoin people, because I can go to my barbecue place, get a steak dinner, and pay him in silver, and he will take it. He won't take Bitcoin. He will take silver. He said to me, should I put up a sign that says, I now take silver and gold in payment? I said, absolutely. You can get silver this cheap. I would have like out on Telegraph on the highway. I would have now taking silver and gold. So if people leave Bitcoin, the price goes down. Because there's only, right, you got 100 guys in and they bought and it's worth X. Now 105, 5 more guys come in buying. price goes up. 10 guys leave, the price goes down. That's a Ponzi scheme. Are you investing the money anywhere? No. How does the money have value? Because the guys in the casino, there's more guys in the casino than are leaving the casino, because they don't want you ever to leave. It's just going to keep going up and up and up. But you believe it. Why? Trust and comfortable. You trust that it works because you can see the price go up. You're comfortable because you've been in it. Hey, Nick. And don't forget North Carolina. North Carolina, that was, I thought about you when we did the NBA lock. And at Golden State game 2 or game 3. And I looked at, here's how I analyze that. So I look at Michigan State. They're really a bad team, right? Being in Michigan, not that I follow them much, but I knew they were a bad team. Yeah, NC State. So, well, Oakland beat Kentucky. I mean, from that standpoint. So here's Michigan State, North Carolina. And then I realized the game's at North Carolina. They're playing at home. Michigan State's a lousy team, got the win over Mississippi State, but they're not that good. And I thought the line should have been 10. And I look, and the line's 3.5. How is North Carolina 3.5-point favorites over that Michigan State team? That's terrible. So that's where we're at. I win by 20. We land 3.5. I probably should have made it a 50-star lock, but 30. I was hoping to be able to come on and do this, but I was unable to. So I basically was in the penalty box for a week, Nick. I said something wrong about medical misinformation, which I have no idea. They wouldn't tell me what I said. I said, well, I don't want to do it again. What did I say? And it was for medical. It wasn't because I swear or talk about the dollar collapsing or gold or anything like that. Yeah, North Carolina, they look pretty good. But again, that was against Michigan State. We'll see. I don't know. Grand Canyon could be tough to beat. I'll go over today's games in 2 seconds. So they didn't tell me what I said. And I said, well, I might say it again. I don't want to say it again. And they basically deleted the video Saturday. And it was a good video too. I was kind of upset. And then they said, you can't do a class until a week. So I was hoping yesterday because of these locks, but ended up going today. And so that's where I've been for the week, and I couldn't upload it, and there was no way of telling you. And I think what I'm going to say is, if this happens again, go to my site, www.teaserking.com, and I'll leave a note on the homepage. In the meantime, I think I can go live on Twitter, but I'm not sure. Let me check into that, because I know people are doing that. And this is why people are leaving and upset with YouTube, is my point was, this is free speech. I should be able to say anything I want, especially nobody under 18, so I don't really allow kids. If I did, I couldn't swear, so I definitely don't allow kids. But I just was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, well, why? What did I do? What did I say? And they wouldn't tell me. It was just medical misinformation, something to do with the World Health Organization. And I mean, I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. So anyway, that's where I was for a week. So I'm trying to be a little careful today. So anyway, so that's the thing. People in Bitcoin are comfortable and trust it. But that's like the Sting or Hustle or any other con thing. You're comfortable and you trust the people. So that's why they give you the bait when they're conning you. They'll say, here, give us 1,000, and they give you back 2. And you go, oh, okay, this thing works. Okay, now we need 100,000. And you say, well, it works. just like the sting, right? What was the sting? They gave him the horse races and see it wins, and they did it again. See it wins. Now now he comes up with 500 grand because he goes, oh, I know it's going to win, but he was comfortable with Robert Redford, and he trusted that the thing would work, but he was comfortable with Robert Redford that he was telling him the truth, and that's. So when I go, or Bobby or you, Nick, when you go tell your family to buy gold and silver and they don't listen, they're not comfortable and they don't trust you. They're comfortable with you to a point, but they don't trust that you know what you're doing. They don't trust that you're telling them to buy gold. They're not trusting you. And that's a problem. I mean, you've got to go, I can't believe you don't trust me, right? How can you not trust me? What if I'm telling you to buy gold and silver, now you don't believe me? So that's why I share it and say, look, you're comfortable with me because I give you a lot of winners in football or basketball and keep you out of Bitcoin and keep you in the gold and silver. And I explain my whole way. So you're like, yeah, professor knows what he's talking about. But then I'm trustworthy because I give you Kansas City to win the Super Bowl and they win the Super Bowl. And you go, yeah. And he's not charging me anything for this information. There's nothing in it for me. See, that's the difference. When you get what's this, Peter Schiff or this Andy Scheckman or Rick Root or any of these con guys that come on, they're promoting themselves. They're selling you something. Schiff wants you to buy gold. So does Scheckman. So you can't trust them that they're being honest. You think they're trying to sell you something. I don't have gold. I'm not a store. I'm not selling you a thing. Right? So you can trust me because I'm not giving you that one for free and then I'm going to get you at the end. Right? I'll give you free gold, but then you got to buy 20 more ounces and I rip you off. So that's why you can be comfortable with me and trust me. But that's why when I'm in the locker room and I tell somebody and they're not comfortable with me and they don't trust me, I get kind of upset. Like, how the hell can you not trust me? I'm not selling you gold. So like I said, that one guy who's talking to his financial planner, I immediately thought of Attack on Wall Street guy, $60,000. And I'm thinking, well, whatever he got for you that you made money on, you're about it's in dollars. You're gonna get killed. The dollar's done. Then I was listening to Reichert yesterday, and he made a comment about money supply going down for 9-10 weeks in a row, or 9-10 months in a row. Oh no, the money supply keeps going down. I think it was Reichert. And I'm like, that can't be. So it's true. But here's the kicker. In 1970, what was that? In 1974, it was 898 billion was the money supply. In 2023, it was 20,811 billion. And yes, it has gone down as of January 2024. It's now 20,781 billion. So it's gone from 20,000,008 to 20,000,007. Oh, it's just coming down in buckets. That's the problem with these guys. They'll sit there and tell you stuff, but they won't give you the number. They'll just say, yeah, it's been tightening. They're coming down. But when it went from 1 trillion to 20 trillion is the inflation. And going from 20,000,008 to 20,000,007, and you've got $1 trillion every quarter on the debt, that's your inflation. But they don't realize that's inflation, or they do, and they just lie to you. I don't know. So our money supply, meaning how much money is out there, meaning this is a 50 count, but that's a 20 trillion count card, and they think inflation's low because they're measuring it by prices. It's amazing how either they don't understand it or they do. And then that's my thought about these guys, why I get so upset, because then you don't trust them. You've got to have comfort and trust with people. So I was thinking about that too. I really went down the rabbit hole with this one. So you want to date a girl and you don't know, and you sit there and are you comfortable with her and do you trust her? Carmen sat there and wanted my money. She kept asking for money, so I didn't trust her. Bye-bye, Carmen. Jenna, she wants a little bit of my money, but I trust her. I'm comfortable with her. Daria, we're going to meet in Serbia, and I'm already comfortable with her, and I do trust her. But I find that's the thing. Do you trust, so you meet a girl, and she's pretty. Are you comfortable with her? I don't know. Maybe she intimidates you. She's really pretty. And then can you trust her? Can you trust that she actually likes you, or she just wants to use you, right? So that's the trust in it. It's the same thing in poker. You read the other people to figure out if they're bluffing or they're not. You can get comfortable with people at poker pretty easily. We're all playing poker, so you got that in common. And then you got to trust your read. Are they bluffing or not? Are they only bet when they have it? He's checking, he doesn't have it, So you're trying to get a feel for the people about trusting them, to trust their bets and trust their reads. Football, same thing. We get comfortable. You got to get comfortable betting it. It's a very hard thing when you're betting football. You got to get comfortable making the bet because it's very stressful. Then you got to trust. Who do you trust? We trust Mahomes. We trust Burrow. We don't trust Lamar, right? We don't trust Josh Allen, and we certainly don't trust the Lions. And so there's a lot of teams right now. We're having a difficult time trusting anybody except for Mahomes, maybe the Niners, maybe Casey. So you can see how this works everywhere. So in Madoff, people didn't know him, but they trusted their people who were with Madoff. That's why word of mouth works. I don't know about this guy. Oh, no, I like him. No, I know him and I like him. Okay, that's the trust factor. And you're comfortable making the investment with Madoff or whatever, or you're comfortable playing blackjack or playing poker. That's why I've had customers for years. I mean, I know Nick's been 3 or 4 years, but I had a guy just email me. I've been following you for 5 years. They're comfortable with me and they trust me. And I think that's really the key to everything, right? With Daria, you get her comfortable and then you let her trust you. You can trust me. That's why I can't accept lying, because it breaks the trust. That's why when our friend comes here and he gives us picks, I'm not comfortable with his picks and I don't trust him. So I don't want him on here. It's not personal. It's, I don't know who you are. And that's why when you set a pick out, I'm sitting there going, why? Why do you like Chicago over the Packers? What's your point? Or you came up with the Mountain West pick. Well, on a dog on a Thursday night. Well, that's no reason to bet. That's not a good. I don't trust that thing. Just like I don't trust algorithms and everything else. I don't trust it. That's why I don't like it, because you can't trust it. It's not proven. Even my trend analysis, which I did trust for years because I had consistency, but I'm smart enough to realize it's hard to play the trend analysis game. Lions are 18-1 as a road dog. Let's play them, because there's too many switching coaches, switching quarterbacks. There's too much of that the 18-1 has to be with the same coach and quarterback. Brady leaves New England, I can't play the New England because they're all Brady trends. He's not there. The trend's not going to work, or I don't trust the trend. So I need new trends. And we've got Joe Burrow trends. We got Mahomes trends. So now we have that. And now I've worked up something I can trust, which is the defense. Strong DKC. Boom. I'm betting them under. I'm betting them. And they're going under. They're winning. With Mahomes, they're winning. But with the defense, they're staying under. And you can trust it. So that whole system, I really just put in place the last 3 years. That's how I evolve. I keep digging and finding things. And I love this over-under. It's Colorado, USC, it's going to be 100-point game. But you get a good defensive team, Georgia, and we're just going to play it under. Once in a while it loses, but it wins 90% of the time. So it's about trust and comfortable. We trust Mark McGwire to a point. We don't trust his guests. We trust Egon. We don't trust Matt Pfeifenberg, his associate. The guy's a Keynesian. He admitted it the other day. He says, well, Keynes said this. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, my God, this guy's a real idiot. So the Keynes people, we don't trust because we know that's communism and that doesn't work. We don't want to even hear it. So that's the first thing I look at is, can I trust these guys? And when I find out they're Keynesians, I just run. I don't want to hear anything they say. So that's why I don't like half these guys on YouTube. A lot of them are Keynesians. But you can't argue. The problem is, how many people know Austrian economics? I learned it. You guys are learning it. But that's it. Most of the people don't know it. And so they talk about Keynesian economics. But because we know it, that's like Lamar, right? Oh, we're betting Lamar, and we know. No. You bet on Mahomes, not Lamar. You bet on Joe Burrow, not Lamar. We get that. So when they start preaching Lamar, we just shut them off going, no, this guy is an idiot. All right. So real quickly, let's get to college basketball, if I can find it. So at 12:10, so in 2 minutes, Colorado Marquette. Marquette minus 4.5, 150. I don't know totals. I don't know college basketball, but somehow yesterday, as Nick says, I had Oakland in 6.5. Should have been. I mean, it goes to overtime. I mean, otherwise they easily win it. And then I have my lock, North Carolina over Michigan State. I don't know any players on it, but I know the theory and I know what to look for. Michigan State wasn't a good team. North Carolina is a 1 seed, so they must be pretty good, and they're at home in Charlotte. So it was a no-brainer. I mean, you knew they weren't going to lose at home, and not to Michigan State. And not that Michigan State, they were a 9 seed. It's not like they were a 1 seed. Then it's a little different. But a 1 seed playing a 9 seed at home, just enough to scare them, Michigan State, it was beautiful. And they win by like 18. And I'm only laying – my line would have been 10, and they were laying 3.5. I said, that's a lock. So I emailed Nick and a few others that I have the emails. Bobby, I don't have your email. I can't do it. So anyway, so today, I don't know. I kind of like Marquette a little bit. We'll see. Utah State, Purdue, 240. Purdue, 11.5. I got to check the Thursday games. Duke and James Madison. That's my play today. Take James Madison plus 7.5. It's a 5:00 game. Duke, they don't have Krzyzewski, right? They're 24-7. James Madison killed whoever they played, and I picked that game Friday night. I said James Madison's going to win, and they just destroyed them. There's no way Duke wins this game by more than 7. I would think James Madison can win. So this is like Oakland yesterday. I got a team that can win, and they're getting 7.5. So take James Madison. They're not a lock. They're my strong play today. Getting 7.5. They'll beat Duke. Clemson, Baylor, I'm confused on. I don't know who's who, really. Baylor's the 3 seed, Clemson, but I don't like the seeding. It's all, look at, you got Grand Canyon seeded 12, and they killed, St. Mary's, so you can't buy that. So Clemson, Baylor. Baylor's laying 4.5. I really hate these home games. Why is North Carolina playing in Charlotte? And it happens every year. If it's not them, it's Duke. Whoever wins the ACC plays at home. What the hell is that? I mean, that's just it's so bad. It's a tournament. Clemson, Baylor. I don't know. I can see that. I don't know. I can see this being close. Alabama, Grand Canyon. Alabama laying 6.5. Take the Canyon, getting 6.5. I don't think Alabama's that good. I think the Canyon, they showed you, they blow out. They'll have momentum from the win from Friday, but next weekend it'll be different. And Alabama, not their year. Now here's where you got to be careful, Nick. UConn against North Carolina will be a great game. UConn laying 13.5 to Northwestern. I think UConn kills them here, but it's a big number. I don't know enough in basketball. Football, if this was Oregon against Northwestern, we'd be laying the 13.5. I don't know enough in basketball if 13.5 is a big number to cover. So I wouldn't take Northwestern here. Let's put it that way. A&M, Houston laying 9.5 to A&M, Bobby's team. Bobby, you going to be at the game? Do you go to these? You're an A&M guy. I kind of like Houston here, laying the 9.5. A&M, I don't know. I know Houston's a real good team. And their last game, Yale against San Diego State. San Diego State laying 5.5. I like Yale. Go Ivy. Beat Mountain West. So your real pick would be Grand Canyon and 6.5 today. James Madison plus the 7.5. And that's about maybe Marquette, but it just started. Now let's go back to Friday and see if I can figure out some things. Okay, Northwestern beats Florida Atlantic 77-65. They're not going to have an easy time today. Baylor beats Colgate. What do you learn from that game? That's where I question this whole tournament. Why is Colgate in this? I mean, what's the point of putting Colgate in the tournament? And yet in football, UCF can go 15-0 and they won't get in. Or Boise or any of those teams. So it's really a shame. San Diego State beats UAB by 4. Yeah, I see. It was Yale playing San Diego State. Yeah. Marquette kills Western Kentucky. They're the 2 seed. Western Kentucky is 15. Clemson beats New Mexico. And in that game was strange. New Mexico was favored, and they were the 11th seed. Clemson wins by 20. So I think Clemson's a pretty live dog today. UConn, what are they playing Stenson for? What is that? 91-52. What is the point of that game? Why is Stenson in the tournament? And then you feed them the number 1 team, UConn. Well, what's the point? I mean, that's just so stupid. Yale 78-76 over Auburn. So that's why I like Yale against San Diego State. Auburn's got to be a better team. Colorado beats Florida. Florida was kind of weak, so I can see Marquette killing them today. A&M beats big Nebraska. Nebraska, they used to be a football team. They're certainly not a basketball team, and the Big Ten sucked this year. So, yeah, I can see A&M getting killed. Duke 64, Vermont 47. What is with these? These teams are ridiculous. So you can't read into Duke, right? You can't read into Duke. You can't read into UConn. So those teams, like you don't learn anything. They win by 40, but they didn't play. They played a high school team. So Duke's going to have their hands full with whoever the hell they're playing. James Madison. Purdue beats Grambling State 78-50. I have no idea. Alabama beats Charlton 109-96. What is this like? Look at these teams they're playing. 109-96. So they win by 13. Yeah, I like whoever Alabama's playing. Houston beats Longwood. What is Longwood? 80 by 40 points. Okay. James Madison beats Wisconsin was probably the easiest pick I've ever made on Friday. Took James Madison, get the point. Wisconsin stinks. They never do anything. I couldn't believe they were favored by 6 or 7, and James Madison had them the whole game. So that's why I like James Madison. You beat Wisconsin, Duke's not much different. Utah State against TCU, 88-72. I don't know. They're the 8th seed. And then Grand Canyon beats St. Mary's 75-66. They beat them by 9. So they can score. They it's a big win. I'm not sure how good St. Mary's was as a 5 seed, but that helps you. So what do you take away from Friday? Not a lot. Maybe Marquette looks good. Clemson, as a dog, beats New Mexico. Nothing from you. Yale beats Auburn. You give them credit, just like Oakland, right? But I know Oakland. I went to school there, and I know the coach. I played softball with the coach. He's one of the best shortstops I've ever seen, and he can hit the ball a mile. Very smart man, very nice man. You play for him, but he's smart. He's a good coach. He's been there since I was there, which is amazing. So I wasn't surprised they beat Kentucky, and I thought they would. That's why I had them yesterday. I thought they'd for sure win. So give Yale beating Auburn. That's a big win. That shows something. Colorado beating Florida. Shows it's high scoring, 102-100. So it must be Coach Prime. I bet Prime Jr.'s out there playing. Part of Prime's contract, my son plays basketball. Only if we're in the tournament. A&M beats Nebraska. I don't learn much. Duke, I don't learn anything. Purdue, I don't learn anything. Alabama, I don't learn anything. Houston, I don't learn. These are the biggest joke games. James Madison, we picked up. Utah State, okay, beating TCU, probably a pretty good team. And Grand Canyon beating St. Mary's. So we pick up those two. Now we fast forward to today. Marquette's already up 12-5. Yeah, Marquette's going to blow them out. It should be high scoring because it looks like Colorado has no defense. So Purdue, Utah State. Yeah, Utah State in 11.5. See, now that I've seen the Friday results, I can make a better pick today. So I think Utah State in 11.5 is good. James Madison 7.5, absolutely, probably the best play of the day. Clemson, Baylor. Clemson in 4.5, probably a competitive game. Alabama, Grand Canyon. We like the Canyon getting 6.5. Northwestern, UConn will probably kill them. Houston, A&M. Houston will probably kill them, and then Yale in 5.5. So the two best dogs are going to be Yale and James Madison. James Madison should beat Duke. They beat Wisconsin, right? And is there a big difference between Wisconsin and Duke? Probably not. Duke, oh, they don't have the coach anymore. That makes a big difference, as we know. All right. So that's your games today. James Madison plus 7.5. The Canyon plus 6.5. Yale plus 5.5. So the problem is they're undervalued because you don't know who they are. You're not comfortable with them, and you don't trust them. You don't trust James Madison, and you certainly don't trust Grand Canyon because you don't know who they are. The Grand Canyon is me at the club trying to tell people to buy gold. Who are you? We're not comfortable with you, and we don't trust you. Once you understand life works like that, it's a lot easier. So if you're you see a nice looking girl that you'd want to get to know or talk to or whatever, you realize that you got to get comfortable. That's why, like, if you just talk to them at first. You don't like try to ask them out because they're not comfortable. That's why. I remember that happened to me in college. This girl comes up to me, pretty girl. You want to go back to my place? I don't know. It's like you caught me so off guard. I wasn't comfortable because I didn't know. I'd never seen her before. So it wasn't like I knew her or we were friends asking me. It wasn't like it was Jenna. So it's this girl, and she just comes up to me, want to go back to my place. And I'm like, my mind's thinking about algebra or whatever. So I kind of, like I wasn't ready or comfortable for that to be asked, and I was getting ready for class. But then after about 10 minutes, I was like looking for her, but she wasn't in my class. She should have given me her number and let me get comfortable. But that's the thing. It's the comfort. You got to get comfortable with the person. And then there's the trust. I can trust them. Come on over. I trust you. Look at Jenna. We go on vacation. She trusts me. She's comfortable with me. That's obvious, but then she trusts me. I send the plane tickets. I give her money for the train to get to the plane. We're in the room. We're in the hotel. We go eat. We go shopping. She's never worried I'm going to leave her. She trusts me. And that's really the key is the comfort and then the trust. And I think that's pretty much life, right? I think that was that girl in Alabama I keep telling you about who I really like, but I couldn't get comfortable with her because she wouldn't allow me to get comfortable with her. And then I'm to get comfortable. I told her about the Cincinnati Super Bowl bet. If I won, I'll give her $100. And she's not trusting me, and she's not comfortable with me after 3 months. I mean, we're talking. I started at Thanksgiving, so it was all December and January, and the Super Bowl is February. So for 2 months, we're talking, and she's not comfortable with me, doesn't trust me. And then she turns me into HR, so I don't trust her. But it was a nightmare from the beginning. But again, we couldn't get comfortable with each other. And that's why I tell you, if the girl's like just very, very, if you're having that difficulty, just walk away and go to somebody else. But it's a comfortable thing. And by that, I mean, oh, hi, how you doing? Let's go to dinner. That's the comfort thing. And then the trust, they trust that, like I said with Daria, she says, I feel safe with you. So she trusts me that I'm honest. And if I tell her, I'm going to give you $50 for groceries, that I give her $50 for groceries. So she trusts me like that. So she's safe with me. And then once we get on vacation, then, she'll be comfortable in real life and trust me in real life because I'll send her the ticket. I'll pick her up at the airport. I'll pay for the food and the hotel and shopping. And then she'll be, oh, okay, this is great. And I think that's what it is. So that's the comfort. It's hard to just see somebody right away and get comfortable and trust. And at the pool, trying to, I know gold's the only answer, right? And yet I'll be in the hot tub and I'll go, hi, do you have any gold? Oh, no, I don't, I'm telling you to buy gold. The dollar's going out, and they won't listen because they're not comfortable with me, and then they don't trust me. Who are you? Why should I listen to you? And you're like, it doesn't matter because if you want to keep your money, you'll listen to me. No, I'm not really, I don't care. There's nothing for me to get comfortable or trust. I'm trying to help you. So I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm not trying to be your friend. So, so there's no trust on my part. I don't want anything from you. I'm not asking you for anything. Right? So I'm sitting there. The money's going to zero. You need to get out of money, go into gold. Now the kids are starting to listen to me more. The lifeguards, I was talking to two of them yesterday, and they both bought gold. One guy, I sold his car for I think $18,000 and bought like 8 ounces of gold with it. He trusts me and he's comfortable with me and he listens to me, and then he's got his friends doing it. So now it's sort of like, yeah, I listen to him. He's got gold. I bought gold. And the friends now really aren't listening to me. Indirectly, they're listening to their friend who's listening to me. So indirectly, they're listening to me, but through their friend. And all these people are going to lose everything very, very soon. So the meeting with brics, it's going to be early May, and they got the green light to do it. So if they have the green light to go and they're going to come out with gold-backed currency, it's the end of the dollar, because you're not really going to, why would you be in the dollar when you can be in a gold-backed dollar? Mark McGwire kept saying they can print as much as they want. And I'm like, Mark, they can't. There's a limit. You can't just keep printing and running up the debt and running up everything. Anyway, so now there's 20 trillion $7 printed, down from 28. Yeah, so it's coming down. So that's there. And the key to it is it's way too much, right? You've ruined a dollar. It's worthless. That's why all the central banks are buying gold. They realize this. They go, you can't print that much. It's going to lose its value. So all the central banks are buying gold for the brics. Most of them want to join brics or at least get the brick-backed gold currency, the gold-backed currency from brics. So that's going to happen in May. Your dollar's gone. Comex is blowing up. They're hanging on, trying to keep shorting it when it goes up. Like I said, Wednesday it goes to 22. It went to 22.11. And I'm like texting the girls, we're at 22.11. We broke 22 for a while. And then Thursday morning it was 22.04. And it's holding. I'm going, great. And then the 10 o'clock London price fix knocked it down to 1970, knocked it down $30. And you're like, okay, nobody's selling it. Now, let's go. This is taking us down this rabbit hole. I heard from some of these idiots on YouTube, the gold stores, the silver stores, and they're sitting there going, people are coming in selling their gold. Right? They're selling they're coming in, they're selling their gold, and they're like profit taking. Excuse me. So they're profit taking. Well, it's not a stock. You don't profit take gold. When gold goes to 2,200, you don't sell it because you made $100. Because you're going to get, when you sell it, this. But we're trying to get off the Titanic. Somebody used that. I just laughed. I think it was Mark McGwire. Says we've hit the iceberg and the water's coming in the boat. And I'm going, oh, okay. So these guys are listening to my videos. Mark McGwire, you silly boy. I'll be a guest on your show, Mark, anytime. I'll really teach you what's going on, not the crap that you have from your guys. So if you're selling your gold because it goes to 20, let's say it goes to 2,300, you don't want to sell your gold because you get this. You don't want this. You're trying to get off of the boat. You're trying to get off of this. You don't want this back. You want to wait for the gold-backed brics to come out. But you certainly don't want to sell your gold because then what do you do with the dollar? That's going to zero. That's at zero. You just traded a gold coin worth something for a dollar worth nothing. And that's what brics is really trying to do. Brics is trying to get, they want to get gold for their oil because they're tired of selling oil, which has a value, for paper that has no value. Just like diamonds or anything else. I don't really want money for it unless I turn the money into gold. So you keep hearing that. Profit taking. It's not a stock. And why are you taking profit? Gold's not going anywhere but up. Gold is the last thing you want to get rid of before it drops. And they keep saying, oh, look at gold. It's at record highs. Time to sell it. No, it's time to buy it because why is it record highs? Nobody asks the question, right? Because nobody knows. Nobody trusts it because it's always been price fixed by JP Morgan in London. So it always then gets derivative down and they don't understand it's not the market. It's not too high. It's way too low. But the market's blowing up, which they don't understand. So do not sell your gold for paper at this point. The paper's almost out. And with $20.7 trillion printed, inflation's gone. I mean, it's so high right now. To even say it's at 2% is it's a Ponzi scheme that you're going to trust. Why do you trust? You're trusting and comfortable with the way they do inflation. Why would you? Because you don't know it, right? So then it gets to our third scenario. There's the Madoff where you trust your father's in it and he's making money, so you trust him. And then there's your you trust the person. But then we get to this third thing called we don't know, which is what we're in. What's inflation? Nobody knows. It's the printing of the money. It's $20.7 trillion printed. That's inflation. Most people think it's prices. They don't know what it is. So now how do I get comfortable and trust? I can't. I cannot get comfortable and trust what's going on because it's above me. It's economics. I got to find a professor to learn. Anyway, you look at it now, you're in the dark. You can't be comfortable or trust what's being said, which is mostly politics. You can't be comfortable or trust what it says. So therefore, you must trust somebody else. So you need to be comfortable and trusting of the person that you're going to listen to understand what inflation is. And good luck finding that. Because like a Reichertz or Rick Rude or Peter Schaff, these guys have no idea. They're Keynesians. They think it's prices going up. It's 2%, it's 3%, because that's what they say it is. And you're like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? And that's really the problem. So you don't know, you can't learn it on your own. Now you're in the dark. Now it's who can teach me? And when I was in Berlin, when a friend of Natasha's from the Odessa was into gold because her house got blown up during the war. She runs to Germany trying to find out about gold because that'll preserve her. and doesn't know where to find it. Then she meets me and she found it. And she's like, where did you find this all? And I go, I had a master's. I learned it at school where they taught Austrian economics. So she found somebody she could get it explained to and trust. But it's hard to find it because how do you ask those questions? And how many people have actually had Austrian economics who could help her, who you could then get comfortable and trust? So when people meet me, if they're into gold, they get comfortable and trust me because I explain it. And they go, yes, that's what it is. Yeah, the dollar is being inflated. Gold can't be printed. Okay. It's being held down by JP Morgan doing derivatives. That's why the price is low. So I give you enough arguments that you can get comfortable and trust me without you knowing. Now you know, but you got to come to me, which is what Luke and Bobby do. And they go, okay, professor, what's happening, which is fine. They're smart enough to be comfortable and trust me over Rick Rude or Reichert or Andy Shankman or whatever. So that's the other problem. Or learning poker. You want to learn poker. Who can I trust and get comfortable with to learn it? So you think, he's a pro, I'll get comfortable with him. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about. Same thing with women. Who do I trust to tell me about? Do I trust a woman? No. You trust a woman because maybe she tells you how they think, but you got to trust somebody who understands it, and they have to be able to explain it to you. So it comes down to who can I trust that will get me comfortable because they can explain what's happening. Teach me. And that's really what the comfort is. So when you think back on an Attack on Wall Street guy, he goes to his broker, put your money in real estate trust. All he thought about is, well, I want something with no risk. Oh, and it's going to make 8 to 10% with zero risk. That's what I want. I don't know what it is. He doesn't know the person. He's not comfortable with the person. And all he trusts is what he says, 8 to 10% with no risk. That's what he trusts. So that's the whole point of it. And that's all you can do. So it's all about, we only know so much, right? I don't know anything about eating. I listen to our doctor, and I watch his videos, and he explains it well. So I get comfortable with Dr. Enberg, and I trust him. The fact that he's on YouTube and I've never met him doesn't matter because he can explain it. And I don't want to talk medical and get another strike, but he explains what's going on. And so you can listen to it and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Some doctors will just, I don't want to get into the whole medical thing. But the idea, nutritionist or something, let's not go there. So again, like finance people. So it's stocks that they have the stock, and they know what's going on. Most of it's a Ponzi scheme. Madoff, he was just getting other people's money in. Bitcoin, it's only grows if somebody joins the team, somebody joins the casino. I thought that was the best explanation I've ever come up with for it. Let's play a little Mark McGwire.
See this image? This is the name and ticker symbol of my number one AI stock.
Liquidity providers are predicting this to be the last cartel defense line before silver mirrors gold's all-time physically driven highs.
They now have to keep printing or we crash.
We've got this ticking.
By connecting the dots from our last market episode, I can't believe it, 2 weeks ago, where we did a deep dive into the silver cartel and how the silver cartel operates. So as to really better question, why was it that with gold rising into all-time record highs, in fact, 2,300, silver was lagging so far below
2,200
all-time $50 2011 highs. That was kind of why we did a deep dive. And really, to kind of sum up, with gold breaking out of its 2024 officially capped range, and we talked about why this is official last time, joined at the hip silver had become the focus of an officially sanctioned PSYOP operation to weigh on gold sentiment. That has been the case for many years. However, while this effort succeeded in tricking out the speculative hot money, that is the CTAs who fractionally own these 96% leveraged undeliverable gold, comex gold positions, so they only need to put up 4% to control these big positions. Also, we saw them concurrently ditching their long gold ETF positions, the exchange traded fund positions. We've done episodes about the ETFs, which is really the illusionary ETFs, because we know, and there's more evidence. We'll look at that. There's some evidence in a minute as to why these are not one-to-one back positions. Now, what happened was officials, through all of this, they failed to account for a huge upsurge in fully paid up, unleveraged, foreign central bank physical gold buying. Now, taking advantage of the paper market analysts misreading the outflows of the gold ETFs as weakness, which they were verbatim doing, these foreign central banks simultaneously pulled the trigger on a massive, we talked about it before, net stable funding compliant spot gold physical buying operation. Net stable funding meaning that ratio means that it's basically in the over-the-counter markets in London and globally, they have to be physically backed, unlike the comex, which isn't compliant. So what was happening is, because so much of the focus is on the comex, under the radar, it also had set silver up for the commencement of the current coiling breakout rally that we were talking about last time. So in a nutshell, what has happened since our last episode is exactly what we're talking about. Now, I'm going to pick up the gold thread shortly because there are notable signs of insider stress to cap the current rally. We've seen evidence of them trying to do that. But to assess what to expect going forward, let's first close the loop on the silver story, which, as we recorded on the 6th of March, which was our last episode, was trading at $24, telegraphing silver was imminently coiling for the first leg of a physically driven structural supply-demand imbalance, which we had not witnessed since the March 2020 COVID January shutdowns. And that had driven, and the chart will show you that, that this drove an $18 rally from $12 over the next 5 months with almost very few pullbacks until it knocked on the door of $30. Now, and so obviously here's what you can see on this link. As we'd observed, this quelling trigger for silver to imminently break out of the current capped 2020.
All right, we don't want to look at charts. Let's go into
do not have in the first place. And this is going to competing central banks.
Hey, Andrew, talking about the upcoming BRICS payment systems, can you update us on what you're hearing out there?
Yep, happy to do so. Now, we understand that Glasnev's closely guarded Russian central bank currency white paper has now received the green light from the top Kremlin advisor, Yuri Ushakov. And following recent beta testing, it will be formally presented to the BRICS 10. That's the May 14th to 19th Kazan summit next month. Now, given the BRICS 10 plus members control the lion's share of the multi-trillion-dollar oil and energy complex, the scale of this upcoming de-dollarization process cannot be underestimated. And everyone that I hear says, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not going to happen." Now, we've previously looked at Glasnev's two currency baskets. One, which would run concurrently with and competing with the SDR, which will obviously run concurrently but take time to get traction. More importantly, which is really what most people make the mistake of just focusing on. But more importantly, the second basket is by commodities and gold. Now, the clue that the preferred of the two currency baskets and the lion's share will utilize gold and hard commodities, which may include silver, I'm not sure, but it could, is the recent statement by Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov that the currency will more effectively use available resources of the countries in mutual settlement to avoid losses due to differences in exchange rates. His words.
Andrew, I got to tell you, man, this has been incredibly educational. I know you've looked at the internal comex casino, the mechanisms in the past. I know we've talked about this often, but we've had a lot of questions coming in from our community about how this game is coming apart. And can you give us a current overview of what's happening in the casino?
Yes, Shane, this is actually quite a simple process, and it does illustrate how this paper to physical game is coming apart. Now, the futures market short sellers have historically held the advantage of longs. It all comes to a head into what is called first notice day. This is when everybody in the smoke and mirrors comex world have to finally show their hand. Now, a short seller indicates their intention of physically delivering the contracts that they've already sold forward, whereas the longs on the other side of the trade must stump up the full cost. That's 96% more than the 4% they invested. Full cost of the contract, indicating they're going to stand for delivery. So, while the long has to stomp up the full value right away, the short, which is always a market-making first-year bank, they can drag out fulfilling delivery for up to the remaining 30 days of that month's contract. So really, if you want an example, for the current front month, which is the April contract, first notice will be on the 28th of March. And the longs must pay out, but may not get delivery until the end of April. Now, a legitimate trader would like to square up positions as soon as possible. It's an overhang of risk. But it's been the usual for the cartel insiders to shuffle paper warrants amongst themselves, and with no real physical being delivered, it usually bought time for the cartel members to create a price waterfall, which ultimately disincentivized the longs standing for delivery from ever taking delivery. And what they would do is simply cash out of their obligation to take delivery because it was such a lower price than they'd originally locked it in at. Obviously, this is a simplified, very simplified example. As there could be hedges in place, and it may be that these longs still actually stand for delivery, but the delay provides the short seller. This is the bottom line. It provides the short seller time to source bullion for delivery, usually at a lower price. However, to answer your question, Shane, this is not what we're evidencing now. This is undoubtedly the condition that we're currently evidencing in both the gold and silver ETFs, which is GLD and SLV. Both have evidence insiders clearly called short of available bullion to deliver into COMEX buyers standing for delivery to pay to pay massive premiums. These guys are having to pay massive premiums to borrow ETF stock so as to meet underwater derivative bets. This is not a good situation. Synthetically diluted COMEX gold is being targeted for physical delivery by central banks using the EFP mechanism, and these outflows completely circumvent the paper shuffling warrant game, as these outflows immediately land in the T+2 regulated Basel III NSFR compliant over-the-counter FX gold delivery markets, meaning that the minute it lands there, the obligation to deliver is in 2 days. And because it's NSFR compliant, within a very small, tiny premium in excess to what they've landed at, because that is the price. And what that's doing is effectively deleveraging and neutralizing the 96% non-compliant paper market stocks. So while these EFP outflows are limited in a session to a single position limit of around 18.6 tons, what we're evidencing now is multiple global central banks are alchemizing this undervalued backdoor opportunity. Well, we all know what the central banks are doing and why. They are fast exchanging their depreciating dollars, euros, yens, pounds, whatever you want, whatever fiat currency you can think of, much like we are. And it's primarily about wealth protection. My only question, though, is how are you doing in this process? How much physical gold and silver do you own? Absolutely.
Not as much as we want. So there you go. BRICS is about to, BRICS gave him the green light. I was a little confused by his answer. He said, don't worry, it won't happen. But I thought he just said it will happen. So maybe I'm missing something there. But it sounded all good that it was going to happen. Here's something going on in Africa, where the French have been running Africa and hurting it. And the Africans are standing up to the French with help from Russia. All of a sudden, Africa is getting stronger. They have a lot of natural resources because the French have been stealing all the national resources. So here's a quick little one from, I've never heard of this country. I've never heard of the guy, but he does have gold. So we will watch this for a minute.
12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve.
If I had to use one word to describe my experience at Harvard Business School online, it would...
Ever since Captain Ibrahim Traoré came to power in Burkina Faso in 2022, he has distanced himself from France and other Western countries. Traoré has often mentioned on several occasions that as long as Burkina Faso does not have an imperialistic mindset, there is no problem, adding that France was ineffective in helping the country fight a long-running anti-jihadist insurgency. The West is not happy that Traoré is trying to make his country 100% independent and free from Western predators. Burkina Faso is a former French colony that long relied on the support of French troops to fight their enemies. But after many failed coups against him, Captain Traoré pledged to sever all ties with France, seen as a colonial power that failed to contain extremists. In today's video, we will be telling you how the West has been trying to tarnish Traoré's image because of his stance. Before we ride on, hit the like button and subscribe to the new tourist channel if you aren't yet part of our community. Many Pan-Africanists like Patrice Lumumba, Muammar Gaddafi, and Thomas Sankara were assassinated because they fought to see the continent autonomous and free from the shackles of colonialism.
And have gold-backed currency.
Their main concerns were geared at making Africa economically and sociopolitically fit to function without any Western intervention. Their ideas and moves posed a big challenge to Western influence, and they were often threatened even before their demise. Now, the West is behind Ibrahim Traoré because of the same problem. Traoré is following the footsteps of his predecessor, Thomas Sankara, the Marxist revolutionary, who ruled Burkina Faso in the 1980s. Sankara worked ceaselessly to make his country independent and free
Yeah,
from
but he's
Western
Marxist.
domination, just like Traoré is doing right now. At the age of 35, Traoré is the youngest president in the world and is currently building the first gold refinery in Burkina Faso. He has worked endlessly to preserve Burkinabe resources from foreign exploiters. According to him, the West should be made to pay the fair market values for these natural resources, which will help Burkina Faso
He's a gold man.
and become truly independent. The West doesn't want this. They want to keep Burkina Faso under their thumb and continue running her policy.
See, what is this? Why does the West go into other countries to try to control them? Leave the country alone. It's not their problem. Now, one thing you like seeing is they're having gold, because it's another country where they didn't kill the leader for having gold. So another strike for gold. So all I can say is gold, you can't inflate it. He bought it, so it just switches hands, so that's fine. It's not inflated. And now let's see how they are on their own, but they're now in bed with Russia, so I don't know if that helps.
Let's talk about the Bearskin Hoodie 3.0. Let's get all the jargon out of the way first. It's got adjustable cup.
So here's Putin wanting to end the U.S. dollar. This is his re-election. See, now I don't think he wants to end the U.S. dollar. He just wants to end the U.S. dollar being the major currency, because normally he would want the U.S., right? He wants us to buy the oil and the gas and the diamonds and whatever else he has. The problem is that the sanctions, he can't deal with the U.S. So we're causing all this. The sanctions don't work because, it's like a restaurant saying you can't eat here. Okay, I'll go to another restaurant. Like, I don't need to eat at your restaurant. And that's what they're doing. So the U.S. says you can't deal with us. And okay, we'll deal with China and we'll deal with Saudi Arabia and all these other countries. You're not the only country. And that's the problem with trying to do sanctions. So anyway, that's what he's trying to do. So the dollarization's here. The inflation is not going away. We're in a recession. It's going to get bad. Now, all that should happen, as I say, normally is the dollar should go away and be replaced by a gold-backed currency or something like that. Or they'll come out with a new dollar not backed by gold and see how long that'll last for 3-4 months. Because people aren't stupid. They realize they can't trust it, which gets back to trust and comfort. Do you trust the government? I don't. Are you comfortable with them? I'm not comfortable with the whole thing because it's getting too big. It's too expensive. They control the money supply. They tax us. That's not what I'm looking for. So don't trust it. I don't mind paying reasonable taxes, but not that. Speaking of that, I did my tax return. So at first I thought I'm in trouble because my Social Security, because I made too much money at Harley and add my Social Security, I'm gonna be short $3,000. Then I looked at my W-2 and they took out the $3,000 in taxes and withholding, because when you saw it, it looked like I was gonna work the whole year there and make a lot more money in a higher bracket. Well, after only working there 5 months, I didn't make as much. Therefore, they were withholding as if I was. So they were withholding too much. But if I stayed the whole year, it would have been fine. So when I go to do my taxes, then I think, oh, it's going to be great. It'll be the 40,000. It'll be minus the standard deduction, gets me to 27. That'll be fine. I won't have to use my Social Security. I think you could make 30. And I thought that's how they were doing it, because Social Security is not like earned income. It's money that they took from you and are just giving you back. But that's not right. So what they do is they take your W-2 money, your 40 grand, they add your 25 Social Security to it. Then you lose your standard deduction. And then they take, because of a certain amount, they'll take 85% of your Social Security. So you go from 25 to 22, and that's the part they add to your gross. So they give you a few thousand off that they don't tax you on, which is a joke. And then you pay tax on that. So I would have, at first I thought I'm getting $3 grand back because they overtaxed me. And then I realized, no, I'm not. They're not doing it that way, even though that's how I read it on Google. To then, because of the $3 grand, I'm not going to owe either. So after a day of digesting it, I'm going, okay, I thought I was going to owe $3 grand. Then I thought I was getting $3 grand back. Then thought I'm going to owe $3 grand again. But because they took all this money out, because I didn't really look at my tax withholdings. Once I looked at that and saw it was 6 instead of 3, I end up like breaking even. So I think it's like $80 one way or the other. I'm like, oh, that's fine. $80 is fine. So for those of you nearing Social Security age or Social Security or getting, things, they count it as income. I don't know why it's not. So how is Social Security income when it's money from your check they took out? So it really makes no sense. So anyway, I'll break even on my taxes, which as far as I'm concerned is really a $3,000 gain, because I thought I would have to pay $3 grand because I made too much money, right? I made more than the 30 grand. So I said, oh, I think they're going to add my Social Security to it. But because of the withholding being so high, it's a wash. So I'm happy. I'm breaking even on my taxes, not losing $3 grand. I'm very happy. And now I'm set up for this year, realizing if I get a job, I'm going to have to pay. I can make 30 grand, and then I got to make sure I have enough tax for Social Security. If I don't work or only make small amount and I stay under the limit, then I don't have to worry about the tax, because Social Security won't get taxed if you only make like 30 grand. So, okay, that's fine. So I'll do the return April 15th or whatever. And basically that's what's happening is that. So yeah, the taxes are a joke, but there's nothing we can do about it. But that's the problem with government. It's too big, too expensive. Mostly I don't like they're ruining our money, and it's too big. And for them to take a lot of your freedoms and, your free speech away and your rights away, that's not the point. We're supposed to go by the Constitution, which means we're not supposed to have a central bank, and we're supposed to have gold and silver. So we will see. But anyway, that's what that's about. About to go to the pool. It's 1 o'clock here. We had daylight savings last week. That really screwed me up. Or the week before, whatever. That was tough. So you're finally getting used to that. What else? So basketball, let's go through that again. So in today's games, let's see, Marquette 22-15, probably later. 45-34 at the half, up 11. I think Marquette wins. Utah State, I think, covers against Purdue. but not a pick. The pick is James Madison getting 7.5 from Duke. I think Clemson Baylor plays a close game. Take the dog there. Not a pick. Grand Canyon's a pick, getting 6.5 from Alabama. UConn should probably kill Northwestern. Houston probably will kill A&M. And my last pick is Yale plus the 5.5 against San Diego State. So my picks, they're not locks. Yesterday's was a lock, North Carolina. This is take the Yale and as the dog, take the Canyon as the dog, and take James Madison as the dog. And those are the 3 picks. And then we'll have picks going next week. Yeah, frustrating week because I like to teach. And I like talking to Nick like this and Bobby and Luke and everybody. So there was a tough week. The way I referred to it was like you get a ticket from the police and you can't drive for a week. And you say, what was the ticket? And they don't tell you. Just know the rules of the road. Did I speed? Did I have a light out? Well, we can't tell you. And I just don't think that's right because I could say something wrong and tell them because I just go. I don't really have a script, so I could say something. But it was a medical thing, so I just won't say medical stuff. I talk about our doctor a little bit, but we'll see. And that's the funny part. I have talked to him about him before, and I never had a problem. So anyway, I'll be careful. And anyway, so anything else? Let's just get into it. So again, the house of cards. So I'm going to leave you with the Bitcoin casino. So again, this is a Vegas chip. It's only has value. It is an asset. It has value, but only at Caesars. It does not have value at the Flamingo or at Bellagio or at CVS or at McDonald's. It only has value in the casino, just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin only has value in the Bitcoin casino. That's what we're going to call it. It is not money. If it was money, gold would have value in all the casinos. This has money wherever you go because this is the medium of exchange. The problem is they're killing it by printing $20.8 trillion of it is making it worthless. That's the inflation. You've printed too much money. It has no value. And but for the time being, you could go to any casino with it. That's the medium of exchange. This is the Bitcoin. This is the asset that is only good in the Caesars casino. Bitcoin is only good in the Bitcoin casino. You can't spend it anywhere else. You can't go to other casinos with it. It's only good in Bitcoin. And it's not money. It's only money if it's good at all the casinos. And Bitcoin is not good at all the casinos as much as they want you to believe. Now, gold soon will be good at all the casinos and can't be printed. It can't be inflated. The dollar, 20,781 billion is heavily inflated. Gold cannot be inflated because you can't just print it. So this is their little Ponzi scheme. We'll keep printing this and printing this and printing this, and you won't know it's not worth anything. I remember I was at Chinese yesterday. I was talking to a guy, and he got comfortable, and then he trusted me because I had the card because I mentioned Bobby Bo at the Chinese restaurant. I says, Bobby Bo's in my class. And he goes, oh, yeah, I know Bobby Bo. So that he was impressed with that Bobby Bo. And anyway, I was telling him about the dollar and gold. And he trusted me. Because I could explain it to him. He says, well, the dollar is just printed to death, but gold you can't print. There's only so much. If you can't find it in the earth, you can't dig it up. But notice how the African country started making gold, right? They started with getting gold bricks. They realized the value of gold. Everybody realizes the value of gold. So much so that the U.S. tries to keep the price down. That's how much they realize it, which is a shame. Just let it go at real market. But then if it was at real market, we wouldn't be able to buy it. It would be 20, 30,000 an ounce. It would be like a Rolex, which, you know, we're not going to buy a Rolex. I mean, I guess you could, but we're probably not going to. We'll buy gold and silver instead. So with that said, the Bitcoin will never be gold, because where gold's real money, Bitcoin isn't. It's not accepted. It's not money. For it to be money, most importantly, it has to be acceptable, scarce, portable. I don't know that Bitcoin's portable. What if you lose your phone? What if the internet goes down? Then, you know, gold's gold. I mean, you know, or the bank. If the power goes down, your money in the banking is probably worthless. But if you have it outside the banking, it's fine. But gold's gold. Always a demand, huge demand for it. Everybody wants it. You can keep it in your pocket. It's denominated and it's acceptable. And, you know, right now, you know, you can't go to any casino with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you went to a casino and they offered, and you said, "Can I get $2,000?" And they looked at it and they go, "Yeah, they probably would. I'll go ask next time." But see, the Bitcoin has no value. That's why they can't, you know, as much as they want to be money, it isn't. They keep comparing it to gold. Why would I buy Bitcoin? I can just buy gold. It's much cheaper. You're 70,000 for an ounce of Bitcoin, and I can buy my gold for $22.50 now. So why would I pay all this money for Bitcoin? So the Bitcoin casino means it's only good in Bitcoin. In the Bitcoin world is the only place Bitcoin's worth anything. Just like Caesars, it's only good in Caesars, and it's an asset and it's money in Caesars. Bitcoin's only money in Bitcoin. That's it. You get outside of Bitcoin, nobody wants it. Nobody knows what it is. You can't spend it. I won't take it. If you go to a grocery store or restaurant, they won't take it. That's the problem when you do see gold is not, it's in the Constitution. So it is part of the government. The dollar is not in the Constitution, but the government, it's the word of the government saying this is good. So the businesses have to take it. But with Bitcoin, when you try to go around the government, so it sounds good. Oh, we won't. But the government's the one that enforces that. The restaurants and grocery stores have to take it, and the utility, you know, to pay your bills. If the government doesn't say you have to take Bitcoin, they don't take it because they don't know what it is and what it's worth, and they take the dollar. And that's really the whole problem with Bitcoin. Trying to be sneaky and say we'll have our own currency. It only works in your casino. It only works this only works at Caesars. It doesn't work at Bellagio. Bitcoin only works at Bitcoin. It doesn't work at Bellagio either. So as much as you want it to be money, it isn't. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold's telling you so. So that's your problem with your Bitcoin. It's not real money. It only works in the Bitcoin casino. So that's probably the best way that anybody can explain it. That's the way my mind works. I come up with these things. So just like Titanic, as much as people want to steal it, they don't know how to say it. I hear them trying to steal my Ponzi scheme and my Titanic. So let's hear them start stealing my Bitcoin. I don't mind they use it. I just would like the credit for it, right? I thought of it. Anyway, so this will be happening by May. It'll be May 5th or 12th to the 9th, 14th to the 19th, the BRICS conference in Kazan, Russia, and they'll got the green light to announce it and get it going, which should be enough to blow up gold, blow up COMEX, and gold will finally go to 10,000, 20,000 like we think, and we'll finally see a normal silver price, not this 24. It hits 25 and they short it down to 24. It's hysterical. Who's selling silver at $25 an ounce? So anyway, and then I was right. They don't have it. That's why these companies are coming to Comex. I guess you got to go to Comex to buy your silver. So they go to Comex to buy the silver. They don't have any. So they're taking it from the ETFs, or they are going, Tesla went right to the mine. They said, well, look, we'll build your mine for you, and we want the silver at whatever the price is. So they're actually helping them with the mine. So they're going right to the mine. But where does the mine ship it to? I mean, so you're digging all this gold and silver out of the ground. What do you do with it? Why aren't you taking it to a wholesaler, not called ETFs or COMEX, and letting, take it to Target, and then you can buy, here's Tesla. Well, I need 2,000 tons of silver. No problem. We'll deliver it. You're gonna put it on your Target card today. So that's what you have basically. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to go to the pool, enjoy the basketball, and have a good day. I'm glad I'm back. I miss teaching. I really enjoy it, and we will go from there. All right. Have a good day. If there's a problem, go to www.teaserking.com. I'll leave something on the homepage, and I'll look for alternate sources if this ever happens again. All right. Take care, everybody.